Welcome back, everyone, to Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Reardon, and I'll be your coach this evening. So, today we're going to be continuing what we do on Fridays, and that's going to be talking about what's happening on in the world. Because if you are watching news, social media, you kind of have an understanding of what's happening. But we need to take a look at what is being said, what is happening, and figure out if it's the truth. Is it really happening, or is the wool being pulled over our eyes? And I find it interesting how social media, Google, the internet, mainstream media, they can say whatever they want. They can put whatever they want on their websites. Rightfully so, right? Because if we think about it, the internet's not going to be private, but if we use a search browser like Google, it's a private company. If we watch a certain news network, right? Let's say ABC, for example, they can put whatever they want on their news network. It's a private news network, right? So they have the freedom to say what they want, do what they want. And we do hold them accountable, and we do fine them if they say inappropriate things. There's lawsuits if they say inappropriate things, of course. But most of the time, they just carry on with whatever they want to say, right? And the whole legal system is going to be in itself a big hoopla, because if you want to sue someone, it takes a lot of work. You just don't say, okay, I'm going to sue you, and then tomorrow you're in court with the person. It takes a lot of work to go through that process, and a lot of money too. So people just don't sue people for fun. Even me. If someone has not done harm or a large amount of distrust, or just lied and being was being deceitful, I might just let it go. Not because the person should not be brought to court, but because of the headache that going to court and just kind of just saying what the world is. But we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But for now, if you're new, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that videos like. If you're watching the podcast after, welcome. And let's get into it. So, going on to the first thing I want to talk about. And this is something I posted last week on December 2nd. I believe it's December 2nd I posted it, December 3rd, but it happened on December 2nd when Jen Psaki, she was having a question, and the question went along the lines of the root cause for people going out and looting and clearing out the shelves is because of the pandemic. The root cause is because it's a pandemic. Now, of course, if we took the pandemic out, would people still be doing it? Probably not. Like if I really had to think about it, where would we be if there was no pandemic? Trump would probably still be president. We're being realistic here, right? If there was no pandemic, where would we be, right? Let's be realistic. Trump will most likely still be president. And you can take that grain of salt, whatever it is. The reason why people voted for Biden versus Trump, number one, they didn't like Trump. And then number two was because of the pandemic. People were afraid. And Biden administration came out. They're like, hey, he's not running the country good. And typically, if you are not running the country good and you're a president, a senator, governor, guess what? You're out. Get the boot. See you later. And so, yeah, I can see that. The pandemic is the reason why a lot of people are looting, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is the reason. It is a valid reason, is what I'm saying. But let's take a look at why people are looting, why people are going out looting around the holiday time, right? Because December 2nd, right after Thanksgiving, we are in holiday full swing. You can play Christmas music. It is okay. but yet people are looting, people are fighting. Why is that? And the reason why that's happening is because people do not have the funds necessary to have a holiday that they usually have. The dollar's not strong anymore. The pandemic in 2020 wiped people out. They were on lockdown. Some people lost their businesses. Some people lost their jobs, their livelihood. And now, 2021, things are not back to normal yet. We are far from normal, if anything. If you are trying to get in shape, this is an example, and you say, okay, I'm going to get in shape, but I'm going to wait 1 year to get in shape. Maybe you keep the same habits. Maybe your habits get a little bit worse, maybe a little bit better, right? It's possible. And then a year later, you say, okay, time to get in shape. I gave myself a year off. I should be in a position to be in a better place. Typically, you're going to be in a worse place. I'm just saying. So the people who took a year off, whether it be from work or whether it be from going outside, these people are going to have to get out of a year rut. And it's not going to take them a year to get out of this rut, but it could take a substantial amount of time and effort. And maybe they don't want to get out. Maybe they don't want to use this energy in order to get ahead. Similar to how when we had the unemployment, the extra $300 for unemployment, people chose not to go to work. And then there's a labor shortage. And now people have to go to work because $300 is not enough due to inflation. So now it's kind of a catch-22 where it's like, I didn't want to go to work because the government was giving me money, but now the money the government is giving me is not enough, so I have to go to work. But even then, they need a bonus. They're not getting a bonus. They were getting $300 sitting on the sofa, and that was enough for many people. And then inflation came, and then they said, your $300 is not going to get you anything anymore. And guess what happens? People are like, not a problem. The next time there's a riot, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to go Christmas shopping. Next time there's a hoopla, protest, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be out there and I'm going to make sure people know I'm upset. I'm upset because of injustice. I'm upset because my color or because a court case ruling, whatever it be. People just want to be upset, rightfully so. And when we look at these people just wanting to be upset, look at what they have. You're not going to see Hollywood movie stars or A-list celebrities in those riots. Do you see them there? Do you see politicians? The people who are telling you to fight or the people who are saying this is not right? You can protest peacefully. Where are they? Probably in a nice, safe spot, maybe in their house, maybe a mansion if they got a mansion. Maybe they have security, maybe not. Maybe not. AOC has security, but then she wants to defund the police. Hey, what do I know? All I know is the root cause, according to Jen Psaki, is the reason why people are so upset is because of the pandemic. Okay. Yeah, let's blame the pandemic. Let's go into the news and let's see how much the pandemic is the cause. CNN comes out and they say that the hospitals are overrun. People are dying at a rate they never seen before. Oh my goodness. Lie. Oh my goodness. A lie, right? This is probably the worst lie since they told about Joe Rogan, taking his ivermectin horse dewormer, right? Because we can go to Amazon, which we will go to Amazon.com, and we can look at what Joe Rogan was taking. Because, yeah, there's two types. They have the type that you get a prescription for, and then, of course, you can go down here and you could take some of this horse stuff, right? But there's tablets for humans too. You need a prescription from your doctor. You need to go get it at a pharmacy. And apparently, Amazon has a pharmacy, so they must be doing really well. So, either way, going back to the hospital stuff. Now, I know workers in the hospital, right? And I'm not sure where this hospital is because it could be New York City, and that will explain a lot because New York is just full of, you know. And so, yeah, it could be that. But here in Texas, we use Texas because that's where I live. That's what I see. I go to the hospital probably 3 times, maybe 4 times a week. And it's not because I'm ill. It's because I know people who work there. We're friendly. They tell me what I need to know. And guess what? The hospitals are not overrun here. They're lucky if they have one COVID positive patient there, right? And then this whole Omicron nonsense, which we were going to get into in a second, over at ABC. Can we use the ABC as the Omicron? No, they just talk about nonsense. Can we use this? No, we can't use Washington Post either because they're talking about the vaccines and that they're going to make 2 billion, but they're not even getting close to that. No, we're not going to talk about that. Can we talk about inflation rising? Probably not. No, I'm trying to figure out where is this Omicron thing? Oh, yeah, we can use the BBC World News. Why not? BBC World News, 3 vaccine doses key for tackling Omicron, and it's going to offer you 75% protection against the symptomatic COVID variant. So Omicron is the new variant of COVID, and it is weak. I think I put out a tweet. Let's see. Here it is. So right above Jen Psaki, I say, so the Omicron variant is weaker than Joe Biden. Ooh, yeah. About that. Weak sauce. So this variant is not even deadly. This variant is just a flu, if you want to call it that. If you want to call it COVID and you could be afraid and you need a vaccine apparently to survive it, go for it. I'm not going to say that you don't need something, but it was a walk in the park. Walk in the park. Get a few flu-like symptoms. Maybe you got some chills. Maybe you're lethargic. That's it. And then you carry on with your day like nothing has ever happened. Guess what? You can survive it. You can get over it. And people who are so worried about the new variant, the new variant, let me go loot and riot. And then I have to wear my regular mask, which here, where is it? Somewhere. New York imposes a fine if you don't have like a mask on in New York. It's like $1,000 fine, which is crazy. But yeah, you need 3 vaccine shots. You need to wear a mask still in New York. And of course, now let's talk about masks for a second, people. If you are wearing an N95 mask, okay, then that means you care about not catching the COVID. Okay, if you're wearing one of these fabric face masks that these people are wearing, you probably don't care that much unless you're sick. If you're sick, it's going to help. But guess what? A lot of people just wear whatever they can get, which some people say is better than nothing. Okay, well, you're not going to use a condom that has a hole in it. What are you going to say is better than nothing? I put a condom on, but it just had a hole in it. Guess what? That mask is not going to protect you from this COVID, right? Yeah, it might make you feel secure, similar to a person who doesn't have gun training and they go out and they put a gun on their hip, right? And they don't have to put a round in the chamber. They just say, okay, well, I have a gun and I feel safe now. I have a mask on, I feel safe. I was handed a gun and I was told it was a cold gun and I pointed it at someone and my finger was on the trigger because I didn't follow proper trigger control or I didn't follow proper gun logic and the gun fired and killed somebody. Hey, what do I know? Let's head over to, we need some Fox News too. We're going to go there too. And then we'll talk about this other stuff. Because Fox News always has something. I think Fox News was the one that had the New York New York thing. Oh no, this is the whole uh, police officer. So for anyone who didn't know, what's her name? Kim, Kim something maybe. I forget. Let me open it up so I know the right name. Kim Potter. Kim Potter is a police officer. Was a police officer who was at a stop and she thought her firearm was a taser and she shot the firearm that she thought was a taser at a suspect and then killed the suspect or killed the person that she was at the traffic stop with, right? So, of course, there was no need to fire a firearm. She said she was going to use the taser to help gain control to get him out of the vehicle because something had happened during the stop and he didn't want to get out of the car. So that's that whole court case. I back the blue all the way. But when it comes to negligence like this, I'm sorry. I mean, you just have to know how to do your job and do it really well. I'm not going to say, hey, take this pill and you're going to become Superman and you take the pill and is really, say, rat poison or something, right? And it gets you super sick, right? The fact that I say something like that, I mean, I should be tried. I should be talked to about that because that has hurt somebody, right? Someone got hurt. And here someone did get hurt, unfortunately. And she does have to go through the due process. Here we have some info stuff and the CDC and the Omicron and stuff like that, and how bad the Omicron is. And they're saying it's not so bad. And only one person has been hospitalized, things like that. This is a migrant crash. And then here we have like a video of someone in a concentration camp and they're being quarantined after a certain amount of days. And then all of a sudden they start to go crazy. Now, if you haven't been in prison yet or in handcuffs or anything, then you wouldn't know how it feels to not have the freedom to do what you want, right? Maybe you do. Maybe you do have that experience, right? But let's say you do not. And you are put in a jail cell and they say, okay, well, sit there. We're going to figure out what to do with you. 1 hour goes by, 2 hour, 5 hours. Before you know it, you miss breakfast and lunch. And you're still behind bars and no one comes and talks to you. But you're locked away. You can't break out. You're trying to do the right thing, go through the system, which their system currently is you're going to go into quarantine camps if you don't have the vaccine. Okay, wait, that's fine, right? But it happens all the time. And it's not happening just for the vaccines. It can happen if I fail to identify myself and I look like a suspect. And then they have to go through that due process. For people who have to deal with that, go behind bars for a certain amount of time because of whatever reason, and they're not given any type of guidance of what's going on, it's nerve-wracking. It is. I was there. And for people who have been there and have fought and maybe won, then you know too, right? And I'm not saying that I need people to sympathize with me because that's the last thing I need is someone to sympathize with my situation, my scenario. Because when it comes to what I do, it doesn't necessarily mean that I need someone else to feel like, oh, Michael had to suffer. It's a pity party for Michael. Oh, he grew up in the in the ghetto. Oh, it was a pity party for Michael. No. It's not. It's reality. If there's one thing I understand is reality. In Germany, schools are subject to bullying if someone doesn't have a vaccination status appropriate to what the person believes. So if someone maybe over in Germany doesn't have the vaccine, right? Let's say they're 8 and they don't have the vaccine. The kids might make fun of them saying, "Ooh, you have COVID," you like similar to the cooties. You have cooties and you can't come next to us because my mom said that if you don't have this bracelet, and they're showing off their slave bracelet, but we'll just call it the COVID bracelet, meaning you got the COVID or passport, whatever you want to call it. And they're like, if you don't have this bracelet, then I have to stay away from you. Okay. Is that what we're teaching our children now? To make fun of people because of a difference? Hmm. The opposite of what was happening when I was a teacher, right? It didn't matter what color you were, it didn't matter what religion, race, it didn't matter. We're all the same. But guess what? Not anymore. Now you are different. The whole world is saying we're different. We're saying that everything that is going on, you need to understand that if it's not my way, it is the wrong way. I find that interesting because people who are operating under this type of belief, right? If someone has a different mindset than you do, right? Now is all of a sudden it's a problem. Oh, this person is evil. Oh, this person is not doing the right thing. We need to stay away from this type of person. Guess what? That's fine. Stay away. Because I was at the gym today and I was listening to some rap music. And one of the lines the artist says is, I'm not worried about burning bridges because I built them. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good actually. Because if you think about it, right, the bridges that you're building, right, maybe you're burning them down. Guess what? Who's the person who is going to be hurt? Now, if someone is operating under a different belief than I am, and they say, I'm burning the bridge from you, Mike, because you have a different belief than I do. And I say, okay, not a problem. See you later. I don't mind. Because if you're operating in a limiting type of mindset, go for it. I definitely don't need you on my team because I operate in abundance. Number one, if I get sick, I know I'm going to get better. Doesn't matter what I get. I can get the C word. I'm going to get better. I already know because in order to win, you have to be strong and you have to have a mindset that's going to be resilient to whatever comes your way. Because the human body is strong. You just have to make sure you give it what it needs. Now, if you're not taking your proper nutrition seriously, maybe now's the time. Because I would hate for you to catch one of these variants and then all of a sudden you're in bed for 2-3 weeks and you feel miserable. But it's not because the variant is so deadly. It's because you haven't been taking care of yourself. Because the truth behind the fact is, most people don't know how to eat a nutritious meal. Where's the vegetables? Where's the greens? Where's the colors? Just give me some McDonald's hamburgers that have 3 colors in it, and I'll call it a day. French fries that all look the same color, call it a day. And for people who are having a hard time understanding that aspect, that you're in charge of your diet, think again. Because I understand eating healthy can cost more money than it does to eat unhealthy. Why is that? Why does it cost more money to be healthy than it does to be unhealthy? Because guess who makes money? Doctors. If you're unhealthy, doctors get to see you. They say, oh, welcome back. Oh, wait, you have diabetes now? Okay, not a problem. We can give you these uh, diabetes pills and we'll make sure you're A-OK to go. Those diabetes pills cost $50 a pop. Maybe. And then your insurance covers hopefully a good portion of it. But then we have all of these vaccines. Washington Post says, so COVAX promised 2 billion vaccine doses a year. It won't deliver even half of that, right? So who is buying all of these vaccines, right? It's the governments, right? Like the governments are buying it to give to their people. They want their people to be safe, right? Air quotes, be safe. So they say, okay, well, we have all these vaccines for you guys to take and to use, and we can use the same vaccine for this variant and that variant. But don't worry, guys. As long as you take enough and get the boosters and everything, everything's going to be all right. Or just give us a month and we'll make a new dose that's going to be able to take care of this new variant. But then again, it doesn't mean that the old doses are not going to get used up. They're going to use up what they bought, what they made, what they bought. And the people who buy the vaccines are going to be taxpayers. So if you pay your taxes, the government buys these vaccines with your tax dollars because you fund the government. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, you think the government is giving me these vaccines and amen. Thank you so much for taking care of us and, making us feel good. Thank you, government. We love you. But for some reason, I'm not sure what happened along the way. People have forgotten that the government works for the people, not the people work for the government. Yet now we have people who are so afraid of the government. Look at January 6th. Everyone who was at the Capitol, in, around, thought about it. Guess what? Now you have to go maybe in front of federal court. You have to go in front of a judge and explain what you were doing there. If you went inside the Capitol, then you're going to be indicted. Whatever that means, right? I don't follow that too much. But it's interesting. You can't even go to your own Capitol. Interesting. I perfectly understand if you went to the Capitol and you were on camera, because they should have cameras in there, and you destroy something, if you vandalize something, hey, go for it. But then while you're out there putting everyone on January 6th in jail, make sure you look at the George Floyd riots. Make sure you look at the Kyle Rittenhouse riots and all the people who were busting up windows and stealing and looting. Make sure those same people are going to jail too. Don't just put January 6 people that didn't do anything. If it did, put them in jail. But for the people who didn't, why are you going after them? There's video of people going into stores, looting places, and they're just free. Crazy. I think the priorities are kind of mixed up a little bit. But the truth is, most people are going to just carry on with their life. We're going to just chalk it up to mob mentality, and we're going to say, see ya, carry on. Everyone, have a nice day. And I find that interesting because just because people are operating under a mob mentality doesn't mean that they're above the law. I would hope if someone is rioting, flipping over cars, burning down buildings, I would hope that this person would have to go to court for their wrongdoing. I wouldn't want anyone to come and burn down my business or to break in and steal all my things. Now, if they need something, that's a different story. Say, hey, Mike, down now, right? Because of COVID, and we don't have any blankets. Do you have any blankets that we can borrow or that we can acquire from you? And I say, sure thing. I got extra blankets. Here you go. How many you need? 2, 3. Everyone needs a blanket. Got plenty. But now they're just busting down a window saying, oh, I need this new Xbox or this new PlayStation or this new TV or these video games or these Pokemon cards, whatever, which is nonsense. And that's what the news is right now. Full of nonsense, full of fear mongering, full of misinformation. And all I'm seeing from CNN all the way to ABC News is a bunch of things that don't even hold a candle to what reality is showing you really. Because all this stuff, nonsense. So yeah, you want to live in fear, you can live in fear. You want to wake up and start to live life the way you should be living life, go for it. I'm all for it. But at the same time, don't drag me down. And I talked to people about this before. If you live in a state or country that is oppressing you It is your choice to stay there. Remember that. It is your choice to stay there. If you're unhappy in a relationship, what do? Typically, you leave. Now, there's a good amount of people who are in relationships, they're not able to leave because they have some type of limiting mindset, but that's another show. But for the people who are able-minded, if they don't like where they are, they get up and they leave. They're not a tree. You're not a tree. So if you don't like it, get up and leave. Get up and move to where you want to move to. And for people who hold a different belief than I do, right? And that belief would be, well, we need to be good and listen to the government because the government knows best. Okay. My belief is, yes, the government has some very intelligent individuals, right? I would hope so. I would hope someone who is running the IRS or someone who's running the country has a extensive wealth of knowledge. I would hope, and I would expect that. I wouldn't want someone running the country who doesn't even know the first thing about politics. I'm one of them. I don't know a lot about politics. You won't see me running for president. And if you do see me running for president, it's because I studied politics. I have maybe became a senator or a governor, something. So I can see firsthand what type of lifestyle is politics, number one, and then to see if I can make a difference. Because I'm not going to just say, oh, I can make a better president because I don't know right now. There maybe in the future, yes, but I don't have the knowledge base to do that. So I don't throw Biden or Camilla under the bus because I can assure you that job is not going to be an easy job. But the difference in the mindset is going to be this. We have laws in place, right? Someone does wrong, there's a law most of the time. For all the rioters, the looters, why are they not in jail? Okay, right? For people who don't do any harm and they say, you know what? We're not going to follow through with this mandate. And even though I have over 100 employees, I'm not going to follow it. Will I be penalized? Yes or no? The answer is no. But for the people who are getting rid of employees saying, hey, you can't work here anymore because you don't have the vaccine, guess what? What happens to those people? They lose their livelihood. And what do the opposite people say? Well, good riddance. You should have taken the vaccine. It was your choice to take the vaccine. I'm going to find it very interesting when the shoe becomes on the other foot. They're going to be able to tell or kind of coerce it where it was all just a lie and that even if you take in it, you're going to be okay, whatever, right? But for the people who receive the shot and then they are told down the line that you didn't really need the shot, sorry about that, what's going to happen? They can't sue. They can't be angry and yell at someone. You're going to have to just deal with it. The choice, the consequence. But just because I didn't do what you did, why should I have to suffer? And I don't. I'm just talking for the people who are like nurses and doctors and they're losing their jobs and stuff like that. And then people are saying, good riddance. Good riddance. You didn't get it. See you later. I find it very funny. The same people called heroes and essential workers are now fodder. Throw them away. We don't need them anymore. Oh, but the hospitals are overrun with this new variant. What are we going to do? We don't have enough healthcare workers. Well, what do you do with them? Oh, wait. Yeah, I forgot. We fired all of them. Oh, we'll just bring them back. Say sorry. Give them a week's pay, maybe 2 weeks off. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. I will see everyone again Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of Coaching a Session. Monday, we're going to be talking about the blog that's coming out and going to be having some guests coming on in the next few weeks. And then I'll probably be going on a podcast also to talk about what's going on in the world, talk about what type of mindsets people are operating under and what we can do about it.